So we're here with Sara from Sara, White Associates. Sara, your company recently released a report on video interviewing, which is what I want to talk to you about today. So rather than ask you a question, I thought I'll just give it to you to begin with, to talk about some of the main themes and stats, I guess, that you found in that report.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest trends that we found is that it's really moved from being something that was a very early adopter to really being something that's becoming more mainstream starting this year. And we've gone from a 10 to 12% adoption rate just a couple years ago to almost 40% of companies now saying they use video at some stage in the hiring process, whether that's a formal video interviewing platform or something else. But it's definitely becoming much more mainstream.
So yeah, you really feel like it's a tipping point where it's about to, people, that it's definitely one of the things that I'm picking up at the conference today.
Well, and I think part of that is because the consumerization of video in general. So we've seen video really integrate every aspect of our life. We can shoot video from our phones, your iPads, our kids are using video and uploading things to YouTube without us even knowing for the most part. And, so video has become such a pivotal part of our life that it just seems like a natural transition to use it in the hiring process. And, there's different ways to use video, whether it's the recorded or the live, and it works differently for every company, but every company can benefit from video interviewing at some stage of the hiring process.
Right, so it's not necessarily at the start of the process, you can use it later on.
Absolutely, so you can use it very early on before phone screens. I see it replace in between phone screens and actual interviews, and then even very late in the process, more of the live interview before you decide to fly somebody in.
Right. And so what comes to mind generally, I think, for most people is the time and cost benefits that come to mind. There's also a lot of quality benefits associated with it. Just to name a couple, transparency around the process for platforms out there that have that can capture the video interviews, that you can go and look at all the candidates, you can share and collaborate with other people, other hiring managers.
One of the biggest benefit we actually found was in a time and kind of cost area that most people don't think about, and that was in the time saved to schedule phone screens.
Definitely.
And we found most companies were spending more than 30 minutes per candidate trying to just schedule for the first time. And so the moving from 30 minutes to 5 or less minutes for an overall interview time was significant when we looked at the overall results.
Which is a key difference actually between sort of live Skype type interviews and
it's a huge difference.
Where you can sort of send questions to candidates who can record in their own time, and you can log in and view the responses.
Absolutely, and many of the platforms now do so much around employment branding that it really supports the larger initiatives that organizations are doing around hiring.
Right. So on the candidate side of things, tips for candidates. How do you think they feel about this? I mean, we're going through a big shift here of the days where you used to, we were sort of like learning how to do interviews, and I still am. But we sort of tips around interviews, which still will remain relevant, but it is a new landscape now, I guess. And what are some tips that you would offer for candidates, and how should they be thinking about these new platforms?
Well, I think what candidates really should be considering is just being natural. This is an opportunity to show yourself and your personality beyond what they can get off of a resume. And so considering it exactly the same as the first in-person interview and taking it with the same level of seriousness.
Right. One of the things that I personally find is it is a two-way street. It's ultimately it is kind of like dating, in that it's better to share information both ways. Before hiring, and if you understand more about the company and you have more of an opportunity to tell them who you are and what you value and what matters to you and what makes you special, that ultimately will lead to a better outcome than not doing that.
Well, and candidates really should be interviewing a company as much as a company is interviewing them. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget about in their job search process, because they're looking for a job and they really put it on the recruiter to make the decision, where they should be really screening and making sure every organization and every job is the right fit for them as well.
Right. And so video interviewing is definitely on the agenda of of sort of big companies and big that have big talent acquisition and sort of recruitment arms. How do you think about for sort of medium-sized organizations and smaller organizations? Should they be thinking about it, and are the benefits there for them as well?
Well, we're obviously seeing it integrated into very large global organizations. I think the biggest ROI and the biggest benefits are actually coming from the small to mid-market companies, because they don't have enough staff in order to really support the same as a larger organization can. And so having something that really helps save the time and speed things up, helps fill jobs quicker, and also saves them money in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of people that run small businesses, and they're passionate about what they do,
right?
And anything that that can help them sort of improve the outcome and sort of allow them to focus on their mission in their business, by bringing other people in is obviously something that's very useful for them, and they should be thinking about.
Well, and the market has evolved enough in the video interviewing space that there are products and solutions available for every price point, every size organization. So it's no longer just a global company play. It really is something that can be adjusted to fit everybody.
This actually leads to a very interesting thing that I've sort of been talking to a few people about. Around just the shift of enterprise technology generally, and the change from big enterprise systems that take sort of 9 months to 12 months to implement in, versus really great products that even in big companies that individual hiring managers can sort of pull off the shelf and start using in a way that works for them. And the best example that comes to mind for me in a different context is phones. Companies used to mandate, look, you have to use a BlackBerry, and this is how it works. And now that approach of sort of mandating one platform, for everyone, and it doesn't necessarily. I don't just say this about HR, HR type tech, in other areas as well. I think there's a change, like a sort of seismic. I probably shouldn't say that in San Diego.
No, not when we're on a balcony.
But there's a change going on in enterprise tech, and it's...
Well, I think what we're going to see is, I don't think we're going to see large organizations shift away from having enterprise technology, but I think the role of enterprise technology is really going to evolve, and we're going to see a lot more single point solutions and kind of the individualized solutions that can plug and play into the enterprise technology a little bit easier. And people aren't going to look to the enterprise technology to be the single point solution. They're really going to look to the products that work best for them, that can plug and integrate into work.
I had a call with someone. I'm not sure if you probably will know him, William Tincup.
Yes.
Everyone knows William. So I had a chat with William just last week.
I'm not familiar with that.
Right, and the thing that he said to me was, it's all about being able to, like, if you're building products, it's all about being able to send the data anywhere at any time.
Right.
Which goes to the point around integration of apps in the future. And if platforms can talk to each other and can send the data, which is obviously a very big theme at the moment, places, then that's sort of where things going.
Well, and we released.
I hope William's watching this.
We released a
hashtag William Tincup.
We released a trends report last year about some of the upcoming trends we were expecting to see around talent acquisition technology specifically. And one of them was just that the applicant tracking systems and the larger solutions were going to just become hubs, and everything else was going to be plug and play ready, and it was going to become much more app based.
Right.
So not even that the technology is going to flow back and forth, but it's really going to shift into more of a consumerized market, like a mobile app based marketplace.
Should I mention the word gamification, or you don't want to go there? Or
I think I like the word gamification. I think there's a misunderstanding within our market when you talk to a practitioner about what gamification means. Is their initial thought is that it's an actual game versus a change in how we use technology and making technology more engaging and exciting and being very simple. It doesn't have to be
and design focus.
It's a design focus.
Exactly.
I think the best new products that I'm seeing, and I spend a lot of time looking at upcoming startups, the best new products I'm seeing actually designed for mobile first and desktop second.
Right. and they look good.
They're amazing.
And they have, that's my view. I think I tweeted this today actually, was if you don't look good, candidates, you won't look good to candidates. So it's it's so important in this day and age of mobile and availability of information that what you're doing and the platforms you're using look good, right?
Right. Absolutely.
It seems to me, Sarah, that this whole thing around video interviewing has been a sleeping giant, and that this year it woke up.
I wouldn't say it was this year. I mean, I first wrote about video interviewing in 2006. We had an article in Forbes the same year, and so the misunderstanding of what video interviewing is what I think took the longest time to change people's perceptions of it. And I think that the video interviewing providers that are on the market finally were able to tell their story better within the last 18 months to help people understand what it meant to have video interviewing and have enough case studies and track record where they had an ROI to show that it was actually valuable and how it was valuable beyond just somebody saving on flights and the basic things that were the initial thoughts, but looking at it really strategically and understanding the role it played in the overall process. But I agree, the last 18 months is really where we have seen that shift, and I would say I don't think we will really be true mainstream until 2014, hitting a late adopter stage probably in 2016.
Right. And so the report, how do people get a copy of the report?
It is on SlideShare, also available on HR Tech Blog or on SaraWhiteLLC.com.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Sarah, for coming to see us and having a chat. It's great to see
Absolutely.
you. And
thank you so much.
The reports you're putting out are fantastic, and I think anyone interested in what's going on in video interviewing, should definitely check it out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much.